Hi. So my name is Frances, and I want to share my testimony with you guys today. I am doing a Bible study with my church, and we're talking about spiritual health, and we're supposed to set goals for ourselves. And one of the goals, they're 3-month goals. So when I sat down to think about what my goals were as far as spiritual health, the very first thing that occurred to me was that I've never shared my testimony with anybody. I have a couple of close friends that truly know everything I've been through and have been there for me through everything, but I've never just said, hey, this is my life and this is what I've been through and this is what God did for me, and so I want to share that with you guys. My original goal was to share with one person, to share with at least one person. Specifically, I think I wrote to have enough confidence to share my testimony with at least one person. But today when I was in church, I realized that I have no reason to be ashamed of my testimony. It's a pretty good story, and I feel like God wants me to share it with more than one person. So I'm taking Him in confidence today, and I'm going to tell everybody. So if you're watching this, I really appreciate you, and I really hope that this helps you. So I guess I'm going to start. I'm 25. I was raised in a really loving Christian home. I went to church as a kid, and Sunday school and church camp and a choir of the fire. I was there, and so at 12 I decided to commit my life to Christ, and I got saved, and I was baptized in my church, and I really thought that I knew what that meant, but to be perfectly honest, I don't think I really truly got saved until I got into my 20s, when I really realized what God's love meant to me. So, I grew up in that home full of love. My parents were wonderful. It was I had a good childhood. As I grew up, I don't know why my music isn't working, so I'm just going to turn it off, and I apologize, but you just have to listen to me now, so sorry. As I got older and got into high school and started trying to make friends, I realized that the world is often unkind and unaccepting. So I spent a lot of middle school and high school trying to fit in somewhere, and I was weird. I was a nerd. I'm still a nerd. I just accept it now. But I really wanted to be accepted by a group of people, because I felt like that would, I don't know, verify my worth, and I would feel like I mattered. So I tried really hard, and eventually I made some friends, but I started skipping school and being disrespectful to my parents. I didn't make the right friends. I made friends with some people that weren't good for me to be around. So senior year, I spent a lot of time in trouble, skipping school, lying to my parents, sneaking out. My grades got worse. I just didn't care because I was finally, accepted. I had friends, and I did cool, fun stuff with them and got in trouble because that was the cool thing to do. But it wasn't it wasn't cool at all. I mean, I just was pretending to be somebody that I thought these people would like because I just wanted them to be my friends. So senior year, I get in a lot of trouble, and I get a job. I start working part-time just so I can have some spending money to go out and drink with my friends or do whatever I want to do and not have to ask my parents for money. So I meet this guy while I'm working there, and he is perfect. He was handsome and popular, and he liked me. Of all people in the entire world, he wanted to go out with me. So we did that, and he convinced me to move out of my parents' house right out of high school. So I did, against their will, and against my better judgment. I moved out and lived with him, and we were together for 2 years. And at first it was cool, I felt really happy and fulfilled in this person, but as the relationship went on, I was made to feel bad about my body, and like there was more that I could do um, to be prettier, to be funnier. You know, I just didn't feel like I was enough because it was made pretty obvious that I wasn't. And looking back, I'm thankful that that relationship didn't work, but at the time, when we separated, I felt so empty and lonely, and like, you know, what did I do wrong? I tried really hard to be everything you wanted me to be, and it wasn't enough. Why? You know? So, after that relationship ended, I started looking back to being accepted by my peers and, you know, making friends and being the cool girl again, because I felt pretty good when I was, you know, that girl before. So, having lost my own identity as a person in this relationship that was so unhealthy, I was left empty-handed. I had to start over. You know, who am I? So, I built a new me around drugs. I got really bad into some of the most terrible life I mean, I don't even have words. It was destructive. It was really unhealthy. I stopped coming around my family because I knew that they could tell I hadn't slept, that I hadn't eaten in days, because I was so wrapped up in numbing my own pain through the use of drugs that they would know, and I didn't want them to judge me, and I didn't want them to be disappointed. So I just didn't come around. I just hung out with my friends. We, you know, I remember this one time I got really strung out and stayed awake for like 3 days in somebody's apartment, and I just remember waking up one day and it was, you know, halfway through the week, and I don't even remember moving from where I had been sitting. It was like I was watching a movie in super fast forward of my life, and like 3 days were gone. But it was because I was so far gone. I was just so messed up and so absorbed with trying to fill myself up, to fill that empty void with that. And I spent a lot of time trying to I don't really know how to word this because it's not pretty. I spent time trying to make myself physically appealing. I wanted to have a man's approval because, I mean, if a man says you're beautiful, you have to be beautiful. You can't just tell yourself that and be beautiful, right? You need someone else to say it. Art is only art if it's appreciated, right? Something like that. I don't know. When somebody calls it art, I really don't know. But it was important to me to be wanted by a man. So I spent a lot of time in bad relationships, having empty physical relationships, and the same thing kept happening. Do you guys know what the definition of insanity is? It's doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. I was crazy. I was out of control. I let drugs and relationships and other people define me. So, I got lost, you know? I lost who I was as a person, even more so than I had when I started. And, so, towards the decline of, that part of my life, things kind of started to fall apart. Like, to the point that even though I was messed up, I was starting to notice it, and it started to affect me. Friendships were broken. For whatever reason, I know it's because God was getting ready to take it away from me. He was getting ready to take me away from that life. But friendships crumbled. My friends died. Some of my friends overdosed, and it could have been me. So, that's how I know that God had a plan for me, and that's why I'm so serious about that relationship now, because it very easily could have been me, and I would have gone to hell because I I wasn't worshiping God. I was worshiping things that that were really, really terrible for me. So I lost friends, and I let my family down, and I broke relationships, and I really hit rock bottom. I don't know how else to say it. I had nothing left. So you know, I got pregnant when I was 22. Yeah, because I had my son at 23. I got pregnant at 22. At the time, I was still using a little here and there, none of the hard stuff that I had been into, but it was unhealthy. And so I was kind of like in the decline of that part of my life, but I wasn't willing to just give it up already, you know? And so then I got pregnant. And I realized that my choices matter. Even though I had lived all this time empty and so selfish, my life was going to change. And I had to make it change because I wasn't just responsible for myself anymore. And so, you know, I made the choice to get sober for my child. And you know, I just don't know how to tell you. Having a kid it saved my life. My son saved my life. He is my miracle. Every day he inspires me to be a better person, and I'm really thankful for him because if I hadn't have gotten pregnant, I don't know if I would have ever really, truly let those things go. So I'm very thankful for him. He is a blessing. But yeah, so I became a mom, and unfortunately it didn't work out with my son's father, but that was by choice. And in the last year, I would have to say it's probably when my faith has become the strongest. As a single mother, you spend a lot of time alone. You spend a lot of time with a little kid that you can't have this kind of conversation with because he doesn't understand. You're just alone with your thoughts. And so, I started talking to God, and I was like, if whatever I've been doing hasn't been working, my choices are never the best choices. They're not super smart. So if you want to step in and you want to, maybe take me in a different direction, I'm willing to let you do that. And in the last year, he has done that. I'm in school. I've been in school for over a year, but I'm doing really good. I'm going to school to be a nurse, and I've made a lot of really good friends that have become an important part of this process in my life. And I can just feel myself growing spiritually, because when I separated from my son's father, I felt so lonely like I had before. But in the last year, I realized that I'm alone, and I don't feel lonely. I have such an overwhelming peace in my heart now, knowing that God loves me, that I was wanted. Out of all of the people, I am the most unlikely candidate as a person to speak for God. He picked me. He saved me and gave me a beautiful little boy and a future, So don't think that it couldn't be you or that you're not worthy, because you are. So I'm not worried about my next relationship. I'm not worried about having people's approval. I have like 5 friends, and I'm okay with that because they're awesome. I don't need to have a bunch of friends. I don't need everybody's approval. I don't need the newest, coolest, whatever. So we have something to talk about. I can find anything to talk about because I'm who I am now, and I'm proud of who I am, and I'm proud of what God's done for me, because my story could have very easily been, you know, it could have been over a lot sooner than it's gonna be, and God saw fit to take me from that and to use me, and I can't tell you the way that my life has changed. I can't tell you how much, I mean, I don't have another word, it's just peace. I have peace. I made bad choices, but that's not who I am. That's what I've done. So, I mean, you just gotta talk to God. Let Him have it. You know, take this bad relationship. If this isn't of you, I don't want it. When you really, really get down to it, and it's just you, and it's just God, I think that's when you find out who you really are. And then it doesn't matter if you have anybody's approval anymore. You just don't care, because the only approval that matters you have, and you've had it this whole time. You just have to be willing to accept that love, because it's waiting. He's ready to give it to you. So yeah, that's my testimony, and I've never told anybody before, so if you watch this whole thing and it's really long, obnoxious entirety, I appreciate you. This is who I am. So thank you for watching, and you can expect more soon. I'm going to do some game reviews in the future, and just show up with really annoying videos to motivate you and inspire you and tell you what